Hello and welcome to the RMIT Group Fitness online program presented to you by RMIT Sport and Fitness. My name is Sandra and I will be instructing you for a 30-minute Have the Flow class today. It's great to have you involved and I hope you enjoy the class. Namaste. So placing the hands just onto the mat, so coming onto your knees, keeping the feet hip distance apart, so wrists stay in line with the shoulders. So we want to take a full inhale, so we're lifting up the chin, the tailbone's lifting. As we exhaling, we tuck the tailbone under, taking the chin to the chest, and we're coming into our balasana, so we're just coming into our child's pose. So inhaling. So lifting up the chin, tailbone's lifting, exhaling. We tuck the tailbone under, tucking the chin to the chest, and we're coming back into our balasana. Then coming back onto our hands and knees. And from here we can extend the right leg up behind. So you want to move the right leg over to your right side and extending it behind you. And reaching the arms over to your right side and just resting your forehead just onto the mat. And then uncurling the toes, coming back onto your all fours as we reach the left leg. So we want to shift the left leg over to our left side, extending our left leg out behind and reaching the left arms over onto our left side and just resting the forehead just onto the mat. And then coming back onto our hands and knees. So again, as we're taking those hands up towards the top of the mat, so the fingers stay spread out wide, so keeping them shoulder distance apart. And we start to uncurl the toes, lifting those knees off the mat. So we're coming into our Adho Mukha, so we want to come into our down dog. And we just give the body a stretch, so we come onto the toes, we release onto the toes, and we release, and onto our toes, and then release. Start to peel those feet out. So we can start to bend that right knee, we can start to bend that left knee. And then staying back into our Adho Mukha, so we can stay into our down dog. So again, if your heels can't reach the mat, you can just keep those knees bent. Just keep the eye gaze to your navel. So as you take those exhales through the nose, you always draw that belly in. And slowly start to walk the feet up towards the top of the mat, keeping those feet hip distance apart. Taking hold of the opposite elbows and just gently swaying from side to side. And then coming back to center. And then releasing the arms beside you as we inhaling. So again, keep the core engaged, reaching arms up to the ceiling. Bring the palms of the hands together, exhaling. We're coming back into our heart center, so Namaste. So coming back into our Tadasana, so we come into our mountain pose. So we keep the feet grounded, so keeping the big toes touching. So we keep the tailbone slightly tucked under, so we relax in the shoulders. So we keep the crown of the head reaching up to the ceiling. And as we exhaling, we're taking the arms up beside us. So inhaling, we're reaching the arms. So coming into our back bend. As we exhaling, we want to fold forward. Inhaling, we come in halfway. As we exhaling, we take both hands back onto the mat. We're stepping back in with our right leg. We step back with our left leg. So we're coming into our down dog. And coming into your high plank, so coming up into your danda, so onto the balls of the feet, making sure the spine's in line with the hips. We drop those knees as we exhaling, we take the chin onto the mat, inhaling, we come into our cobra, so Bhujakasana. So we can come either onto the knees, you can uncurl the toes, back into Adho Mukha, so we're coming back into our down dog. As we inhaling, so we raise our right leg up into our three-legged downward dog. So taking right foot in between the hands, and we're taking the left foot. As we inhale, we reach in the arms, we bring the palms of the hands together. Exhaling, we're coming back into our heart center. So arms come out beside us. So inhaling, reaching arms into our back bend. As we exhale, we're folding forward. Inhaling, we come in halfway. As we exhale, we take both hands onto the mat. We step back with our left leg. We step back into our right leg. So we come into Adho Mukha. So coming up into our high planks, so coming into our danda as we drop in those knees. As we exhaling, we taking the chest onto the mat. Keep the tailbone lifting onto our belly. As we inhale, we come into our upward facing dog again. We want to keep those shoulders relaxed. So you can either come onto your knees or you can uncurl your toes and coming back into your Adho Mukha. So inhaling, left leg rises. So taking left foot in between the hands and taking your right foot. As we inhale, we reach in arms. Bring the palms of the hands together. Exhaling back into Samastiti. So we just want to hold here just for a couple of breaths. Just coming back into our practice. Coming back into our breath. As we exhale, we take the arms up beside us. So inhale, we reach in arms, coming into our back bend. As we exhale, we folding forward. Inhaling, coming halfway. As we exhaling, we take both hands back onto the mat, just stepping back into your down dog. As we inhaling, right leg rises into your three-legged downward dog. So taking right foot in between the hands, taking both hands off the mat. As we inhale, we're coming into Anjali Mudra. So taking those palms of the hands together. As we exhaling, we want to twist over to our right side. So the elbows will come onto the outside of the right knee. We want to look over towards our right shoulder. Options here. You can drop the right knee, you can lift that left knee off the mat. And then releasing the arms, so we're taking that left hand onto the inside of the right foot. We want to raise the right arm, so gaze up towards those right fingers. And then circling that right arm behind. As we inhale, we're reaching both arms, interlacing those hands. As we exhale, we come into humble virya. So taking that right shoulder onto the inside of the right knee, and you keep the crown of the head down towards the mat. So you still want to stand to the ball of that left foot. And then releasing the arms. As we inhale, we reach in arms, we pivot the back foot, we're coming back into our warrior two. Sustain here just for a few breaths. So you want to keep the bend into that right knee. As we come forward, we reverse, we exhale, we want to reach left arm up to the ceiling. Taking both hands back onto the mat, and we want to step back into our Adho Mukha. So we want to come back into our down dog. Left leg rises up into our three-legged downward dog. So taking left foot to the top of the mat, onto the ball of the right foot. As we inhale, we're coming up into our crescent lunge, into Anjali Mudra. So taking both hands back into your heart center. As we exhale, taking the elbows onto the outside edge of that left knee. So we want to look over towards our left shoulder. Options again, we can lower that right knee. And we just stay in here just for a few more breaths. And we release it, taking right hand onto the inside of the left foot. We raise the left arm up towards the ceiling, so just gazing up towards that left hand. As we exhaling, circling that left arm. As we inhale, we're coming back into our crescent lunge. And then interlacing those hands, so squeezing shoulder blades. As we exhaling, we're taking the left shoulder onto the inside of the left knee. So we want to keep the crown of the head down towards the mat and still stand to the ball of the right foot. And then releasing the arms. As we inhale, we want to reach the arms, pivot that back foot in. We're coming back into our warrior two. So we're just holding here just for a few breaths. As we come forward, reverse, exhale. We're reaching the left arm up to the ceiling. And then back into Viratu. So taking both hands back onto the mat, and we can step back into our down dog and just pedaling those feet out. So bending the right knee, we can bend that left knee. So again, options, you can bend the knees, you can jump the feet up towards the top of the mat, or walking the feet up towards the top. As we inhaling, we reach in arms, we bring the palms of the hands together, exhaling back into our heart center, back into Samastiti. So again, we just stay here for a few breaths. We come back into our practice, and we always come back into our intention. And then taking that left leg out wide. So you want to come in, keeping those legs wider than the hips. The feet will stay into a 45 degrees. And then placing those hands into your heart center, and then bend into the knees. But keep the tailbone, you want to keep it tucked under. And then taking the arms out beside you as you inhaling, we start to straighten out through the legs. Bring the palms of the hands together. As we exhaling, we're coming back into our heart center. And again, the arms come out beside us. We're inhaling, straighten out the legs. Bring the palms of the hands together. And then exhaling, we're coming back into our heart center. If it's available, then you can stand to the balls of your feet. And we just want to hold here just for a few breaths, or you can just stay flat onto your feet. So that options. And we're just staying here for a few breaths. As we exhaling, we want to come forward, keep the knees bent, and then you can start to straighten out through the legs. Hands rest onto the mat. Start to bend into the right knee and start to bend into that left knee. And then we're coming back to center. So taking an inhale. As we exhaling, we bend into the right knee. Keep that left foot flexed. Walk the hands. We want to walk the hands out in front. And just gazing down towards those fingertips. And then coming back to center as we exhale. We want to bend into that left knee. Keep the right foot flexed. And we want to reach the arms and just gazing down, gazing towards our fingers. And then coming back to center. And again, we can just pivot those feet in. And then interlacing those hands as we exhaling, we want to come forward and just holding here. Taking those arms, reaching those arms overhead. And then releasing to take those hands onto the mat. So we want to walk those hands up towards the top of the mat, stepping forward. We're coming back into Utkatasana. So we want to come back into our chair pose. So again, we keep the tailbone tucked under, and we just hold here just for a few breaths. As we inhaling, start to straighten out through the legs. Bring the palms of the hands together. Exhaling. We're coming back into Samastiti. And again, we just hold here just for a couple of breaths. So we want to take the hand just onto the left hip. And we want to raise the right knee in towards the chest. So right hand onto the inside of the right knee. As we exhale it, we start to draw that right knee out. Always keep the groundiness of the left foot and keep your eyes, always keep your eye gaze steady. So if any time you fall out of the posture, you can just come back into it. And then inhaling back to the center and then releasing. And again, taking that right hand onto the right hip. So we want to lift that left knee off the mat. So the left foot, so taking that hand onto the inside of the right knee and gently start to draw that left leg over to your side. And again, keep your eye gaze steady. So if any time you fall out of the posture, if your balance is a bit tricky today, you can just come back into it. And then exhaling, coming back to center, and we can just give those legs, giving those legs a shake. And as we come back into our tree, so again, you can take the foot onto your ankle, rest onto the shin, back onto your inner thigh, or half lotus if you've got more of an open in your hip area. So the hands will come back into your heart center. Keep left foot grounded as we inhaling, so reaching arms up to the ceiling. As we exhaling, this time we just want to keep those fingers spread out wide and just keep those shoulders relaxed. And if you have your balance, then you can slowly start to twist over to your right side and then come back to center, and then you can slowly twist over to your left side. And we slowly start to come back to center. As we inhale, we reach in arms. Let the eyes follow the hands. We bring the palms of the hands together and then back into our heart center. So back into Namaste. And then releasing, and just give those legs a shake. And again, we want to pick up the left foot, so place it back onto our ankle, resting onto your shin, onto your inner thigh, or you can take it into a half lotus, only if you have more open in the hip area. And the hands will come back into our heart center, so keep the right foot grounded. As we inhale, we reach in arms. As we exhale, we keep the fingers spread out, keep the shoulders relaxed, and then breathe. So always keep your eyes focused at one spot, and that'll also help with your balance. And as we exhale, we can just twist over to our left side, and we're coming back to center, and then we can twist over to our right side. And then we can slowly start to come back to center as we inhale, reaching arms, bring the palms of the hands together. As we exhale, we're coming back into our heart center, so back into Samastiti. And we release the legs, giving those legs a shake. Again, we just come back into our practice, and we come back into our breath, and we come back into our intention. And then exhaling as we're taking those arms up beside you. So inhaling, reaching arms. So we bring the palms of the hands together into our back bend. As we exhaling, we want to fold forward, inhaling, resting hands onto the shins. As we exhaling, we take both hands onto the mat. So again, options, you can either bend the knees, you can jump back into a plank, you can step back into your plank, or you can just come into your down dog. So coming straight into your down dog as you drop those knees onto the mat. As we exhaling, the chest comes onto the mat, keep the tailbone lifted. We're onto our belly. As we inhaling, we're coming into our upward facing dog, keeping those shoulders drawn back and keeping them relaxed. So you can uncurl the toes, we can come back onto your knees, and we can come back into Adho Mukha, so we're coming back into our down dog. And again, from here, you can bend both knees, you can jump the feet up towards the top of the mat, or you can walk the feet and coming into a seated position and just giving those legs, you can just give those legs a shake. So from here again, we want to keep the feet hip distance apart. So we want to reach those arms, and we want to raise the right leg, and then we want to raise the left leg, and we just want to hold here. If it's available, then you can extend both legs, and we just want to hold here. And just staying here just for a few more breaths. And as we exhale in, we're coming onto our back, and we take those legs, we just give those legs a shake. And as we inhale in, we want to take the right knee into the chest, So this time, as we take the left hand onto the outside edge of the right knee, so we want to come forward, let that knee come over to our left side, take that right arm in line with the shoulder, and we can just gaze towards that right hand. And then inhaling as we coming back to center, releasing that leg. As we take left knee into the chest, the right hand onto the outside edge of the left knee. And we just want to just gently take that knee over to our right side. And that left arm will come in line with the shoulders. So you want to gaze just towards that left hand. And then inhaling as we're coming back to center. And releasing and just giving those legs a shake. And then taking both knees into the chest. So just giving those knees a hug. And then just gently rocking from side to side. And then releasing, taking both legs out in front of you. So just giving those legs a shake. And again, just rolling, gently start to roll over onto your bellies. So any back sensitivity, always keep the feet, keeping hip distance apart, and you can just rock them, rocking those hips from side to side. And then we just come back to center. So this time, as you're taking those arms, so taking them out to about a 45 degrees, so taking the palms of the hands, you just want to rest them onto the ground, and the chin will just rest onto the mat. So you want to take a full exhale. On your next inhale, lifting the palms of the hands onto the ground. You just want to lift that chest, just raising that chest off the mat. Just keep gazing straight ahead. And then exhaling, we want to release, bring the big toes touching, resting that right ear. The arms will just come up beside you. And then coming back to center, taking the chin back onto the mat. So we want to take the palms of the hands onto about a 45 degrees, and the feet will stay hip distance apart. So taking another exhale, and on your next inhale, you want to lift the chest, the legs, and you want to take the palms of the hands off the ground and just gazing straight ahead, and keep breathing. And then exhaling, you release. So we're taking that left ear onto the mat. Bring the big toes touching, and the arms will just come up beside us. And we just want to rest here. And then just rest, taking the chin onto the mat, taking those hands underneath the shoulders, uncurling the toes, coming back onto your knees. And again, we start to roll those hips clockwise. And we come back to center, and then we can slowly start to come anti-clockwise. And then back to center as we exhale. We take those legs out wider, so we're coming into Balasana, so into our wisdom posture. And then we're coming forward, just resting the foot onto the mat. You can bring the palms of the hands together. And we just want to rest here. So keep the body relaxed, and the mind will start to relax. And a beautiful posture to do at any time if you're ever feeling stressed or a bit anxious. You can always come back into this posture, or for 20 breaths whenever you need to, and you would just breathe normally. And just staying here just for a few more breaths. And then just coming back onto your hands and knees, placing the hands back onto the mat. And then we can come back into Adho Mukha. So we want to come back into our down dog. And then you can bring both feet together and just wind swipe the feet from side to side. And then we just meet back into down dog. So keeping the feet hip distance apart. And we just hold here. So we just hold in this resting posture just for another 5 breaths, for 5 full cycles. And then just dropping those knees back onto the mat. And again, we're coming back into our seated position. So we just want to give our legs, we just want to give those legs a good shake. So from here, we can take that left leg. So we can just take that left ankle, just taking that left ankle just onto the outside of the thigh. So we want to still keep that right foot, keeping that right leg out in front of you. So keeping the toes reaching up to the ceiling. So left hand onto right knee, right hand behind the lower back. As we exhale, we just want to look over towards our right shoulder. Try to keep the shoulders relaxed, so keeping away from the ears. Start to draw the belly in. And then inhaling as we slowly start to come back to center, and then we can come forward. So again, it depends on your flexibility. You can just either have the hands onto the mat, you can have them onto your toes, onto your ankles, onto the shins, or just resting onto the knees. And we just want to come forward, and we just want to hold here just for a few breaths. Taking those long, smooth, steady breaths. And slowly start to walk those hands back in towards you, releasing the legs, giving those legs a shake, and then we can come back onto the other side. So keeping that left leg straight, keeping it flexed, so that ankle just stays onto the outside edge of that right thigh. So right hand onto left knee, left hand behind the lower back. As we exhale, we just want to look over towards our left shoulder. Again, keep those shoulders relaxed. Keep engaged the core as you take those exhales through the nose. And then inhaling as we're coming back to center, and then we can come forward. So again, the hands might just come onto the mat, onto the toes, onto the ankles, the shins, or just onto the knees, onto the knee, and just coming forward. Again, just taking those long, smooth breaths. And just keep that mind relaxed. You might even close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And then slowly start to walk those hands back in towards you. So we want to release the legs. So we just want to give those legs, we can give those legs a shake. And then we're coming back in our Shavasana, so we're coming back into our final resting pose. So just relaxing the body onto your mat. Keeping the arms away from the body with the palms facing upwards. Let the ankles just roll out naturally. And just gently start to close your eyes. Just letting those legs relax, back of the legs. Keeping the hips relaxed. The back of the spine, shoulders, and neck. And let that head relax. And we just stay here. Taking a full inhale through the nose and taking a full exhale through the nose. Taking another full inhale through the nose and taking a full exhale through the nose. Taking another full inhale through the nose and taking a full exhale through the nose. So just come back into the natural rhythm of the breath as you start to bring your awareness back into your surroundings, as you start to bring your awareness back into the room, and as you start to bring your awareness back into your body. So we want to move our fingers, we want to move our toes, and we reach our arms overhead. So we just want to give the body an awakening stretch. And then drawing both knees into the chest, and then just gently start to roll over onto your right side. And stay here for a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, you can slowly start to make your way back up. So you want to come into your cross, you can either come in cross-legged or whatever else is comfortable for you. And then just bringing your hands back into your heart center and just gently closing your eyes. And again, we just reflect back onto our practice and how you felt when you first started the class, and how you're feeling right now, how the mind is feeling calmer, the mind is feeling more focused, more peaceful, and the body is feeling lighter, it's feeling more energized, and it's feeling more grounded. So we just want to rub our hands together, so we're just creating that warmth, and then just gently placing those hands just over the face. So again, bringing hands together, so rubbing them together, creating your warmth, and then you can just rest those hands wherever your body might need it. And then just bring your hands back into your heart center, so we're just here for another few breaths. Just a reminder that yoga is a journey, so it's a lifetime journey, so we never stop learning. So it doesn't matter if you're flexible, it doesn't matter if you're inflexible. The rewards will always be there end of each class, and the more you practice, the more benefits you'll see. And everyone will experience different benefits, and some days your mind will be different, and other days your body will be different, and that's just all part of the yoga journey. And yoga brings a sense of balance into our bodies, into our minds, and into our spirits. So just bowing forward and just owning yourself for your practice this morning. And sometimes the biggest challenge is just rolling the mat out. And just let that feeling of calmness and peacefulness, let it carry you up the rest of the day and into the evening. Namaste.